Hey guys, Shadylikeatree here, and welcome into Smite Saturday. We have some Zeus gameplay as requested by J-Dog. I'm figuring the gameplay portion of this out a little bit, so I think this video is better than the last couple. Still trying to get it on point and get it the way I want it, but hopefully you guys will enjoy this game nonetheless. I did want to mention that the my internet was kind of lagging a little bit, so you will see lag. That's not video lag, that is in fact internet lag. But anyway, off to the topic of today, I wanted to talk about some of the really cool and interesting people that I get to meet on a regular basis through my job. One of the things I do as a journalist every day is I talk to different people, and sometimes it's the same people, but periodically I get to talk to new people, more interesting people, and even different people. And because of that, I have a lot of really cool stories to share. So when I was thinking about this video this week and thinking about, who was maybe the coolest person I met, I thought about the governor that I've met. I've thought about meeting, various state and local officials. I've thought about, the meeting of, the national officials that I've met and seeing senators and stuff like that. But I thought, those people are really great and kind of have good stories per se. But at the end of the day, what really makes a community and what really makes this country great are the people who volunteer their time. And there's actually a couple people who I remember. One woman, she's the volunteer coordinator for the local hospital. She oversees a number of hours of service in, I think it's like 8 different departments so far this year. This is just for 2015. I'm recording this on April 18th. There have been over 20,500 hours, and if you do the math, that's like 854 volunteer days of service that have been given to the hospital and the community, and just all the work that those people do and the stories they have to share are amazing, and the reasons why they serve are very selfless. Another person that kind of comes to mind too is there's the volunteer that kind of heads up the local food pantry. It's not called the food pantry here. They have another, I guess, more socially acceptable name, I guess, for it. But at the same time, I think that she does a great job and she helps a lot of people. There's a guy up in a town not too far from where I am. He does he runs a lot of the festivals for this particular village that I'm talking about. I'm purposely leaving these people's names out because I didn't ask them permission to discuss them. But he runs literally every festival and event for this village, and doing it completely for free on behalf of a couple of the different clubs. What's always really amazing to me is how every year he's able to come up with new and interesting and different ways to put on the events, while also, still working a full-time job elsewhere and doing the other things that he feels he needs to do and that he probably does need to do to make things run as well as possible, I guess. I think, though, one of the coolest group of people that I got to meet was the local veterans group. I was able to kind of sit around for a couple hours the other day while I was at work and just listen to them tell stories. And some of those stories were incredible. It was awesome to hear about, flying a plane and, being, in a line of helicopters and having to not want to be first or last because that's what they would do to try to muck up the landing zone, and all the dangers of that, and hearing these stories about what it was like, outside of battle, what it was like for the guys who were in the artillery units, for the guys that were in the supply units and weren't actively trying to fight, but were in sense kind of the more passive participants in the wars, in the conflicts that they were fighting. And some of them were just kind of talking about being in the Corps of Engineers, and actually one of the guys was in the Corps of Engineers for I forget which branch of the military he was an engineer for, but basically he had served in, I think, Iraq, and he was talking about all the stuff that they were building and had built, and kind of how different things were over there, but yet how they were the same. And just hearing stories about, a couple of their friends who had died. They talked at great length about one man who had died, and kind of his honor and his, the different things that he had done in his life, and shared both stories of why he earned, I believe it was a silver star. He earned 2 silver stars, a couple different Purple Hearts. I think he had 4 or 5 Purple Hearts for various things, and they were sharing a story of how he went AWOL from the hospital, which wasn't uncommon back then, to get back to the front lines. And in the process of doing so, he saved like 6 guys, and he actually, with a piece of shrapnel in his leg, carried another man. I forget where he carried this man, but that to me was what was maybe kind of most telling, was just the willingness to help others and save others that these people had. I mean, the dude went AWOL from a hospital, took a hit from a grenade that blew a 4-inch hole in his leg, and then he was able to, or willing and able, not just able but willing, to carry a 150, 200 pound probably man with who knows how much gear attached to him, several hundred yards out of danger, and get him out of the situation that they found themselves in. To me, that's just incredible. Um, I don't think I could ever do that. I don't think I'd ever find myself in that situation, for one, but I don't think I'd ever have the strength or the willpower, the governance to make that happen. Another one of the guys was talking about how, they had used what they had learned in the service, back here, and he was a cook on a ship. I forget which ship. It was like one of the transport ships or something like that. And he was saying how he used what he was able to learn on that, and how he had taught people with sort of a, I don't want to say a lack of skills, but definitely a lack of training to cook, so they could use those jobs. And actually, one of the people he taught a number of years ago now has a well-known restaurant in Columbus, and they're doing very well because of what he was able to show them on his volunteer time at the shelter. I hear these stories all the time, and it's always really, really cool to me to see, all the different, ways that people are able to help out, and all the different ways that people want to, um, get things taken care of, from a community standpoint. Because I think that, while it's on some level the government does help, I think it's people in the community who use their own dollars, their own time, their own effort, their own energy, and their own knowledge that make the community a better place. And, this is no different. Another really cool example of people who like to volunteer that I always like to cite in instances like this is one of the very first stories I wrote about a volunteer couple was actually a couple that liked to paint together. And they had painted a number of different things. It was outrageous, I think, the amount of things they'd actually ended up painting together. But it was like something in the neighborhood of like 17 or 18 different types of canvas paintings, and they had painted all the lawn gnomes that you could imagine, things like that. And at the end of the day, they were just bored, and they had painted pretty much everything they could think of. So the city approached them, or well, they approached the city, I should say, and said, "Hey, we like to paint. Can we do any painting projects?" And the city was like, this is a good idea. So they had them paint all the fire hydrants. And what's special about these fire hydrants is that they're all orange at their base, of course. But then they had them paint like a little green tip on them so they would look like a pumpkin. And because of that, we now have pumpkin fire hydrants, which are just kind of a cool feature of our little small town. There probably aren't any towns anywhere else that have pumpkin fire hydrants. But at the end of the day, because these people offered their time and offered their, I guess, expertise to some degree, we were able to, as a city, have something really cool, and also have it at almost no cost, minus the paint and paintbrushes and the like. Which, when you think about it, in small towns like the one that I live in, and in many others, across the country, that's how a lot of things get done. They get done with the love and the patience and the kindness and support of others who, just make it happen, because it wouldn't happen any other way. Because, you can't afford, when your budget's, 10 million or whatever it may be, and there's no room left in the budget to cover anything else. You can't take the time or the money out of the budget to try to cover that. At the end of the day, you're left with limited finances, and volunteerism is a great way to get some amazing things done on the cheap, or even for free, when without it, they would not even be possible at all. Through all these stories that I've done, what's really amazing to me is the number of stories that I'll never actually get to tell, because I would say for every person that I've come across that said, yes, I'd be willing to talk to you and interview you and appear in the paper, there are probably 3 or 4 people that just say, I don't want to do that because I'm not in it for the recognition. I'm not in it for, I'm not in it for any kind of reward or anything. I do it because it's the right thing to do. I do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because it fulfills me. And a lot of people do it in the name of their deity too. That's kind of a big reason or thing that kind of happens. But at the same time, it's just amazing, all the little things. And I mean, there's a lot of little stuff involved, but at the same time, there's a lot of really, really huge stuff that is involved. And it's just incredible to see all these people put in all this hard work. I mean, thousands and thousands of hours a year, people put in, and they treat it kind of like a job without pay. I mean, it's incredible, some of the things that they see and they do, and all the help they provide to the community. I'm blown away by it constantly. I really am. So anyway, guys, volunteerism is pretty awesome, I must say that. But that's all I really have for you guys today. This gameplay is coming to a close rather rapidly. They do surrender. I will say this: they do surrender. We do wreck house pretty good, and we were able to take it to them pretty hardcore, and I think they surrender around the 12-minute mark here. It's coming up. But anyway, I wanted to see I wanted to do what I usually do, and just ask you guys if you have any topic suggestions that you want to hear, to please let me know. And also, if you're interested in any gods, let me know what gods you want to see. This was a god requested by J-Dog. He wanted to see more Zeus gameplay. Zeus is probably he is one of my favorite mages. I just like the way he plays, and he's kind of OP. He has the kind of snipe that can help kill the enemy gods when they try to get away. So if you just clip them once, boom, they're dead at the same time. But yeah, that Loki was stupid for attacking our tank, because he just gets wrecked right there. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a like and let me know. Consider commenting and tell me what you thought. And if you're new to the videos, please subscribe, as always. So, again, guys, I want to thank you very much for the support lately, especially on some of my more troubling videos. And I hope you guys check out the rest of them for today. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, and you guys have a great Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow on Sunday's vlog. DFTBA, guys, and have a good one.